Talking about rings, you ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in, 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 tune in. This week in car audio. Yeah. Tune in, this week in car audio.
Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, the Judge, Doug Stockton, co-hosted by Jeffrey Fernandez, internet and movie superstar. Oh, video games too. Can't forget about that, Jeffrey.
On occasion, yes, that is true.
That's right. Hey, I'm trying to figure out some stuff here on YouTube. What'd you have going on this weekend, sir? Stockton, co-hosted by
Who me?
Yeah.
Nothing much. I did kind of a wine tasting event out here in Grapevine.
That sounds less than exciting.
It's called Grape Fest. You know, I don't really drink wine, but it's just like a big thing they have here. I went to it last year, had some fun, and wanted to check it out again this year. It wasn't too bad, but I guess that's what they do out here in Grapevine, Texas. A lot of wine tasting.
We do that around our house too. You know what I mean? So
that sounds good.
Oops, damn it, wrong button. Yeah, so I'm gonna need your help to watch. Do you want to watch the YouTube side or do you want to watch the Facebook side?
So probably the Facebook side would be better.
Okay,
I have YouTube up.
I'll got the YouTube. I'll watch the YouTube side. I won't be able to pull stuff across here today, just because I am working from a different computer at the moment, and I need to set this computer up for us to be doing this going forward. So
Are we up and running?
We are up and running.
I don't see it on Sonic Effects.
Yeah, I clicked on it, so we're up and good.
There we go.
All right. Oops, wrong button. I grabbed the wrong phone. So I just want to say hi to our guest. Our guest would be Shawn Mayo, Excess Power. Why don't you introduce yourself, Shawn?
So like Doug said, I'm Shawn Mayo. I am an employee of Excess Power Batteries and Sundown Audio. I'm the head of Team Excess Power, the competition division. I also handle a large majority of the audio-based distribution and dealer accounts. And then I also take care of a lot of the marketing, sponsorship programs, show sponsorships, any sort of marketing outreach by Excess Power, and a lot of Sundown Audio I do manage and take care of. I'm also a competitor myself, and I will be competing at the DB Drag Finals in Owensboro, Kentucky.
Not Knoxville.
Not Knoxville. I almost said Knoxville.
You did. And it's not next weekend. It's 2 weekends away. Next weekend, we're doing our dress rehearsal, which is the base race and top dog. I got SQ Sounds typing in. Moises is showing up. Who are we looking at? I thought I saw Moses.
Yeah,
Martinez.
Moses says, there you fellas are.
Yeah, I'm working hard right now, doing other things. I'm actually getting paid to be on a job site. We had some issues. The rain started coming to Reno, and we ripped the roof off this morning. So that made for a very bad combination. Yes. Literally ripped the roof off. So we're in the middle of replacing the roof, and we can't go home until it is replaced. All right. So, okay, there we go. Yeah, I see Eric Hansen popping in on YouTube also. Shawn, what's good? That's Tristan's wife. Or Tristan is Tiffany's husband from Barbados. Excess Power Dealers, SQ Sound, if you don't know who they are.
Cool.
So, Shawn, have you watched our podcast at all, or?
Yeah, I've watched quite a few of them. I was participating last week in the rules discussion and all that.
I thought you were participating quite a bit. Like when Celeste suggested you to come on the podcast, because this, as we mentioned previous weeks, we were trying to people that support the things that we like. Speaking of which, please support those who support the things that you guys like to do. The sponsors for today's venue or today's podcast we got Crossfire Cardio, we got E-Box, and Voodoo Customs. So remember, always support those people that support the things that you like to do. Speaking of which, here's one of the people that supports the things that you guys do, World Finals. So what is your guys' level of sponsorship this year?
I think it was a custom package that I offered. It was a unique thing. I wanted several different things, like a T-shirt sponsor and a badge sponsor. I think a decal sponsor too. We obviously have been a longtime sponsor of DV Drag for the finals of the United States. And I was talking to Brian, the judge out in Europe, and just kind of having a conversation with him. And European finals, to my knowledge, is something we've never really had a real active approach, and specifically joining that. So we decided to reach out to him and see if we could get a new outreach out there. Obviously, Excess Power is very well known in the United States and Canada, and even South for what products we make and the reputation that we have. But Europe is still a large market that I believe there's a lot more potential in. So we wanted to try and extend that outreach there to show our continuation of supportive competitors who come back to buy from us and the dealers and distributors.
All right, cool. So you're going to supply us with a giveaway item today. Why don't you tell us all about what that item is so people get an idea of what it is?
Yep. So a UC31 is a ultra capacitor. Basically think of it as like a cat bank. If you remember the old cylindrical cells that people still use, the old 3,000, 2,700 farad, those sort of numbers. It's basically those in a Group 31 housing. It has a Bluetooth module that allows it to jump off your vehicle. Especially if the vehicle's dead, it can provide enough energy to start the car, and it works fantastic for your smaller 1,500 to 2,000 watt style setups. They're very common. They're going to last a long time generally, and they're a bargain at the pricing that they are. They do weigh about 30 pounds. There's videos of me trying to destroy one on YouTube. I've dropped it like 3 stories trying to break one, even on the head, and I can't break it. Just the things that they're made to withstand is pretty ridiculous. So I think those are a great thing to give away, especially for somebody who's just wanted to have a 1,500 or 2,000 watt setup, or you've got a 10,000 watt setup, you've got some extra room to put another battery in. These are both awesome features and an awesome item to have. So seemed like a good idea to give a few away.
Yeah, so I have a 2,000 watt setup for my Trans Am, and so I'm running 450 amp hour of lithium. You think that'll be enough?
Just a tad.
Never an issue of having too much is never an issue, right?
Absolutely.
So
are we gonna do the wheel today?
We are gonna do the wheel today.
Nice.
So when we get to that point, Jeffrey's gonna look for the here's that raise the hands on the YouTube side, or I'm sorry, on the Facebook side. I'm gonna do it on the YouTube side. I gotta set up the I'm not set up because I'm not at my aunt's house. So when I get to my aunt's house, I got the multi-screen set up and I'm all ready to go and everything. Here, I'm not as set up. So, sorry. I can't pull your comments up there. Wheel of Names, that's what I'm looking at. Wheel of Name Spinner, there she is. I got it loaded on my other laptop, or on my screen right here. All we got to do is start adding names. We will do that, roughly halfway through the podcast, and then we'll do the spin. I'll share the screen, and we'll do all that crap. So, anyway, so Shawn, what class are you going to compete in at World Finals?
So I'll be in Super Street 1 to 2.
Okay, so Super Street 1 to 2. I'm not sure who else is coming in that, because wasn't that not Bo. Who was the world champion last year in Super Street 1 to 2, Shawn?
It was Soundcheck Customs. They had their Terra.
Oh, that's right, the Terra. And so they won't be competing this year. So who do you think's who's the front runner then for Super Street 1 to 2?
So there's some serious competition in Europe that obviously is who's the loudest in the world is what matters to me. It's not necessarily one location. It's at the very end who's number one on top in the world. Not that regional titles aren't well worth their weight and very impressive. I just have a heart set on the world title, given the fact that it is a unified finals in this way this time, where we're competing against everybody on the same stage over a live feed and everybody connected together. I'm excited for that opportunity to go against anybody in the world who who thinks they're the best in that class and made the best competitor win.
All right. So, but you don't have anybody specifically that you think is a front runner for that.
It can be anybody's ball game with unlimited power. The
Yep.
loudest person could be finished last in unlimited power.
That's right.
It's like attrition being such a factor in super street stuff, especially when you're going through classes and you're consistently having to be careful not to go too hard to break something potentially, or soft enough to get beat. So there's kind of that game of a battle of attrition sometimes, and oftentimes we've seen it in racing or anywhere else where endurance is a factor. Sometimes the loudest person doesn't win. It's the one who is loud combined with the stamina and the ability to hold it together.
Oh yeah.
Keep it together long enough to win, and I think that's so impressive in play.
Yep. Keeping it together to win is a big deal. And then the ring's only going to whoever wins this year.
Yep.
Between all
Yep.
4 locations, so you don't get just a ring for winning your personal location, right?
Yep.
That's a big deal. That's cool. As a matter of fact, next week I believe we're going to have either Wayne or Celise on here and talk about all the different things going on with the World Finals, like
Oh yeah, we
the
got to.
competitor
right?
party. Yeah, I already talked to them, so.
That's good.
But anyway, so Shawn, I've seen him participate in our podcast a few times, and Selisa's like, well, suggestion for a guy might be Shawn Mayo. I got him already, bam, and I hit him up. He jumped on, and like I said, he actually stepped up, and they decided they were going to be part of the giveaway today. So we're going to give away 2 things today. So that's awesome.
Cool. We got a comment here from
Okay.
on Facebook. Spencer Stanaland. He's out of
Canada.
Is it Canada or was
Yeah.
it New Zealand?
No,
okay,
he's a
Canada.
Canadian.
He asked here, are you running the CRX? I don't know if that's. I'm
That's
pretty
the
sure
Shawn.
that's so the Shawn.
So I ran a CRX. I think it was in 2019. I think is what it was. It was a little black CRX. That was actually my first vehicle that I built specifically for DB Drag. The year before that, I had competed in Mecca, and I obviously was chasing guys like Gorman, Bo, Neil, the ones who I really looked up to and who I considered the legends of the sport. And I was like, man, I really want to be in DB Drag. That's where all the big hitters are. If I'm going to have a reputation of being on the top, that's where I feel like I need to be. And so I kind of jumped into drag, to be honest, because I was watching and I had guys around me, such as those guys, to learn. And guys like Will Mantlo, you probably remember him, Doug. Have people like that around me too. Will Mantlo. Basically, people like that to kind of show me the ropes and teach me a lot. And, that's kind of where I went. So the CRX is my first opportunity to try that. And I learned a lot of lessons on that.
So that's a no, you're not bringing the CRX. You're doing something else.
No.
So.
Nick Samino here says, we want to see a good run between Shawn Mayo and Chad Stulil.
Is that one of the European guys?
No, I think he's is he FAFO? I think he might be Team Electronics FAFO, right? Yeah, Team DTX FAFO.
Dude, FAFO's got
but
a car.
They're 2 different classes, though, aren't they?
I don't know what FAFO was doing because at my event he just did freestyle.
Ah, okay.
So I'm not sure what he runs.
Yeah, Nick, I think they might be in 2 different classes, but yeah, that'd be something cool to see.
Yep. I mean, FAFO's car's loud. Just saying. But yeah, that's good. So Shawn, so tell us how you got started in car audio and how you ended up over there at XS.
So without taking up 30 minutes of time, basically, I enjoyed watching audio from the very beginning. I remember riding around with my dad, listening to music, and just enjoying the sport. Even 9, 10 years old, going to watch my family compete at like the national finals. I remember watching that, enjoying it, and be like, one day I'm gonna do this, and it was so cool watching those guys. And I eventually grew up. I was watching YouTube videos. I was obsessed with the YouTube sensations of the time, making videos. Guys like Steve Mead, for example. I watched every video he had, and always, enjoyed I'm not sure if you remember the old Crutchfield magazines. The old Crutchfield magazines. I would get those, and I would have every part memorized. And eventually when I got my own car, I started doing that way. I started moving away, and obviously times were tough because I was in college, and I would constantly just be flipping audio equipment on the side, just buying and selling, trading, collecting enough money to basically buy and improve my equipment. And I didn't really compete much then because, to be honest, I didn't think I was anywhere near it. And I then started. I forget how I actually got into competing after that, but it was hanging out with people that were competing. And then eventually what it got to me was I built my Tahoe, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try and go after competition. I'm going to build with 321s. That's what I liked at the time as an incriminator. And I was like, I'm going to do a no wall. I'm just going to see where it lands, and then I'm going to adjust wherever I need to, because this is what I've always wanted to try. And then I kind of got set up with the guys in Middle Tennessee, and it kind of went from there. As far as Excess Power, I was doing my own lithium, or I was always a member of Team Excess Power. I've always supported Excess Power. Even when I first started competing, the product reputation was always, it was like in my head when I was young, it was like, Excess Power was the Snap-on level. Like it was always the highest level. That was the best product. That was the cream of the crop. If you had that, not that you had a bankroll, but it was the idea. If you had good product, you understood the importance of quality equipment, and that was kind of the way I went into that. So, from there on, I had a relationship with Scotty, who is obviously a very decorated competitor, and I had a relationship with him and being on Team Excess Power, and I was selling my own lithium stuff on the side, and that's how Scotty and I started talking, was, him kind of tutoring me and helping me find suppliers for what I was doing. And I kind of expressed to him some interest in, my career and stuff like that. And he was like, well, why don't you come work for Excess Power? And I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know anything about it. I was like, I've never sold anything in my life on paper. Like, if you gave me nothing on my W-2 ever said anything about sales. And the only thing that say that is my cash. And the people around me. So he's like, you're fine. Just come look it out. Come meet with me here in Knoxville. You can pick up stuff there, and then we'll talk. I was like, okay. So it kind of started from there. I think that was about 4 to 5 years ago, something like that. And I've grown, obviously, since then, at his helm. And he's, in a good way, tutored me and taught me kind of how to move and how to navigate. Learned a lot about the ins and outs of the industry, and growing within where I'm at now. And obviously, as his acquisitions of other companies, such as Sundown, has helped broaden my horizons and my ability to work within other companies. And of course, he's been good enough to let me join and have all the fun along the ride with him. So like I said, I owe a lot to him on that. But I would say it's probably the main reason. Like I said, I had no idea when I first started, messing with audio, because he kind of was like, hey, I don't need to see your resume really. I kind of know what I need to know. Come talk to me. Let's discuss it from there. Like I said, and that was kind of where it was at, to be honest with you.
Wow. So this was almost like kind of a story where you guys met, doing sound off competitions, right? Or DB drag in particular.
Yep.
That's cool. We've had a couple of stories like that. Hey, I started off in DB drag, and well, Scotty is himself a success story. He started in DB drag. Now he's running his own audio businesses. So yeah, that's really cool. It's really cool.
And that's what's cool about dealing with him, is like you get to have that example of, for example, if I come into the office and I'm mad because I have a bottom sub that's giving me issues, and I can come in there and be like, Scotty, and just tell him what happens. Like, have you checked this? Have you checked this? And it's kind of cool to have that ability. He knows what that's like to break crap constantly. He knows what that's like to push the limits. And obviously his equipment, his technology wasn't as advanced as what we deal with now. But the idea is still the same of troubleshooting and knowing what ideas to try, and conceptual ideas, things like that. And it really humbles a lot of people when he's in the booth and somebody asks him a question, and he hits them like he's just some guy in the parking lot that knows a lot about audio. And they're like, oh my goodness, he knows so much more than what people think. I'm like, you have no idea how much he knows. Like, it's kind of ridiculous.
One of the things that Wayne and Sleece are super proud of with DB Drag and where it's brought us is people that literally didn't have anything to do with the industry and now have created a livelihood. And not only that, but now they brought other people that were just hobbyists and gave them a livelihood too, like Scotty, DC Audio, Nick at Incriminator. Those people developed their companies around the competition scene. And that's, when you listen and talk to Wayne, that's one of the things they're the most proud of, is that their organization is gave people an opportunity to make a reasonable living. And some of those guys are making a very good living from something that didn't even exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's great. Like some of the cool things. I mean, you get to meet some awesome people. I mean, like I got these people in the chat right here, Tristan and Tiffany out of Barbados, right? Never ever would have met those guys. If I wasn't doing DV Drag, then doing this podcast, doing it with Lucky, all these things led me to meeting people all over the world. And, why would I ever have known you or met you in my entire life if it wasn't for DV Drag or Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The superstar actor. Well, I might have met Jeffrey through my sister eventually.
Probably.
But yeah, other than that, Tristan wants to know, Shawn, do you guys have any surprises for the 2024 at XS Power?
So we have all kinds of things coming up that I can't talk about, or else Scotty's going to be in the chat.
Hence the surprises.
Oh, the surprise will be later. We're not there yet, but yes, we've got all kinds of things planned. Obviously, having an enthusiast-driven business, which if you've ever really came and seen us at XS Power, we love audio, we love messing with stuff. There's like, we call it a burnout box beside our building where, cars do burnouts. Like I said, we love power sports, we love baggers. I mean, we kind of just like, I feel like we're like big kids. We enjoy stuff like that, and having those sorts of things, we kind of stay on the cutting edge all the time. So it's kind of one of the things that, we're constantly trying to beat last year's thing. Like Jacob Fuller with Sundown, I'm sure, all of you are fully aware who that is. He's like, I've got this one so great, and everybody's losing their minds. He's like, but I got two more that are better. And it's like, man, like, it's like you're beating yourself. But anyway, I seen a comment I want to address. Somebody named Susie, I don't know how to pronounce that name without butchering it. Susie, the What Advice one.
I think she's out of Canada.
She's out of Canada. I think her son competes, and we had him on the show just recently. So yes, go ahead.
Okay. The question was, what advice would you give a newbie when competing in base race? To be honest with you, I haven't done a lot of base race now. I do enjoy it. Will Mantlow, for that same group I was telling you about earlier, kind of gave me an idea on what base race was. But Chris Gregory was actually one of the ones that first taught me on base racing. And I'm just a Burt guy. I don't do a lot of base race. But, I constantly tell him every year, Chris, I'm going to do base race this year. And he's like, okay. And it just constantly, consistently, so every year now it's a running joke, I'm going to do base race this year. And I was like, but Chris, the first time SPO calls, that's my heart. I can't just run it. So I told him this year, I'm like, the Courier, after it runs Super Street this year, I was like, I plan on doing 59.9 next year. I've already kind of got the lithium bank and everything planned out in the Courier to extend that to run 59.9. Speaking of that, hopefully we have some track modifications to allow that. But that's where we're at right now.
Well, I mean, I think just being where you are in Tennessee, it's like you got a base race.
Well, Tennessee base racers.
Yep. But yeah, I would talk to somebody who's done it a lot. Obviously, I've done the smaller classes for fun. I've never been a winner or anything like that. As far as like, somebody who's won a ring or anything like that, I don't have any tangibles within base race to give expert advice like some of these guys do. But I would just say practice and consistency. I've always believed that if you're going to be a competitor, Turn Lab is the best investment you can make. And there's a reason for that, because if you're planning on doing 29.9, basically what you can do is you can sit there in your driveway or wherever and get so familiar with your clicks, with your settings, with your environments. All these things happen all around you. Like, don't laugh, but like, if I'm wanting to run 29.9 and I can get my wife behind me to start hollering at me, to mimic distractions, mimic people talking to you, mimic cars going by, do it in a Walmart parking lot, things like that. Kind of getting that routine set up on what you're going to do and those type of things. That's what I do.
So, well, to speak to that, we had Jimbo come to California, and he was totally thrown off his game by the way I announced the shows. Which, have you ever been to one of my shows, Shawn? Other than, you've been to World Finals last year.
Yeah.
So you see kind of how I interact with the people. So that really threw Jimbo off. As you said, it's a distraction that he didn't account for. Because if you ever watch Jimbo, he goes, he goes into Zen and then goes, and here I am, bah, 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 bah. Oh man, he was like, whoa, what, huh, what?
I got to see him at World Finals last year. I seen him the year before too, I think. And then I seen him and his dad at CES at
Right.
Las Vegas. I got to do a small training there and got to teach a couple people about some other stuff, like as far as like our technology and what we're doing at Access to the dealers. And I got to run into Ray and Jimbo, and those guys are awesome. I love those guys to death. They're good guys. I've always had nothing but good things to say. But yeah, I figured he was, if we ran 59.9, I would see Jimbo. But there's a funny story behind that. So I talked to Jimbo last year when you were judging, and he was like, "Come over here and look at my cabin. I'm having issues with this. I think he was having a sub issue. I forget it exactly." He's like, "Look up under my dash," kind of, just having some general conversation. And I'm like, "Jimbo, I don't know how I'm supposed to read any of this. It's all in Canadian." He was like, "What?" So the joke now is like, "I can't read this crap, Jimbo. It's in Canadian." Like, like just messing with me. Dude, they're so cool. Those guys are so awesome.
They are. I've never had any issues with any of the Canadian competitors. They are usually really, really, really nice people.
Yeah.
Hey, we're rolling up on the 6 o'clock hour, so let's start getting the hand raises, the here's. So Jeffrey, just tell me when you get them coming up. So where do you see yourself in the future there, Shawn? I mean, continuing with XS, maybe branching out on your own. How do you see your future going? I mean, are you looking like super long term with XS?
So, I kind of, obviously you never know where the future truly lies. You can plan that the best you can, but at the end of the day, you're not in control of a lot of things, and you're kind of in a situational spot everywhere you go. And you kind of, not that you're in a whitewater rafting, but you kind of get thrown for wherever the world, and somebody else wants to take you. So you got to roll with the punches. But I've always said that, my plan is to retire, with Excess Power or within one of Excess Power's companies in some sort of subsidiary or something like that, to grow within this industry. I don't have any plans to leave. Obviously, that's not my decision. But that's what I have planned. Like I said, I love being able to interact with you guys, and especially the audio enthusiasts, and going to shows and going to, getting to meet dealers at CES, getting to go to Knowledge Fest, getting to go to Slamology, getting to do World Finals, getting to enjoy and have those conversations, and, see guys like, some of the
Jeffrey,
get to know.
Hey guys, I'll be right back real quick. I gotta go take care of something. I'll be right back. Okay. So keep on. Sorry to interrupt.
All right, Doug. It's okay. So, I mean, yeah, it seems like with all the businesses Scotty's buying nowadays, I made fun of him, and I told him, hey, he's like the Elon Musk, buying up all these different businesses. Maybe you can see yourself, hitting one of those businesses one day. Who knows? Who knows? But it's cool where you feel yourself in a position where it's like, like you say, you want to end your tenure, your career with that specific company, and that's in a tribute
The guy with
to
the key.
how the atmosphere is over there, and what Scotty runs over there. So if any of you guys that are watching, listening in, how did Shawn get hooked up with Scotty? So it's just that easily. And then now he's over here, the head of marketing for all these different categories and what audio, and wow. So, and guaranteed, we talk about this on the show a lot. When we started off as competitors, we all it's kind of like a band, like a brotherhood of sorts. And we always try to say, you never want to kind of be, with lack of a better term, you don't want to be that a-hole that talks down upon people, because you always never know. Guaranteed, if Shawn was talking crap about Scotty and maybe his band back in the day, he wouldn't be in this position where he is now. So that can go a long way, and I always tell people, you never know.
So you're exactly right. I like to see a lot of the crossover into the, not only in obviously DB Drag, being that it's more of a DB Drag centered podcast, but obviously giving you background. But having people cross over from the competition industries and the works over into the manufacturing side is a really, really cool thing to see. And it doesn't happen as much, obviously, but it's so cool to interact with people that, I met somebody at Slamology that was, just had a normal audio set. He's like, I'm a dealer in Oklahoma. And I'm like, holy crap, who are you? And having a conversation. You really get to see, a lot of things, because the guys that come in the store oftentimes see the Facebook videos of people,
Yeah.
these subs. Like I know Soundcheck it obviously did a great video on the LCS subs and how loud they can get on low wattage. It's like those guys that watch that video may not have been in Indiana, they may not have been in Tennessee, but they could have been anywhere, and they're going into those shops and they're buying those subs or something similar because of a video they've seen that they know how loud they can be. So that sort of trickle down into the dealer network builds up, and that sort of thing is so healthy for the industry to see what, especially these low budget drivers, man, these new subs coming out. I know Incriminator's got one, Sundown's got one, I think Crossfire has one too. Obviously multiple DC has one too. A lot of these companies have such good entry level drivers. I'm like, man, these things are so strong compared to what they are.
Definitely. And not only that, I mean, you got to be able to know what you're doing. I think RP knows what he's doing up there, and
Yeah.
Hank and those guys, dealing with entry level speakers. So let's, give them some props too. But for sure, and they in themselves are the R&D essentially for companies like Sundown or whichever product they decide to do research and development for. So them in themselves are technically they're employees. They're
Yeah.
advertising. That's where their advertising dollars are going. So
And a
that's
lot
kind
of
of a
that
cool
is
thing to
when
see.
you're on a team, like, and for example, for Incriminator, for example, and obviously my vehicle runs Incriminator, to be honest, it's 221-inch Warden R4s. And it's on 4 of the IX 15.1s.
He's got the
It's
new
got
R4s, baby.
Yes, I love them. I love those things. Man, I can just do unspeakable things to them, and they just keep on living. But and that's what's cool because I'll message Nick like that's what broke, like or that's what I broke. It wasn't the sub, it was the door. Or it was the door, it was the floor. Or something like that. It's you get a lot of that too with, especially like you said, guys who grew up in competition coming into the manufacturing side. I'm just using him as an example. It's like Nick and Scotty, for example. They know what it's like to push the limits. They know what it's like to need a sub that can handle 40,000 watts a handful of times and live to tell the story, and they understand.
Right, it's the same thing over at Crossfire. You got Jeffrey and you got Roger Bridges, right? I mean, it's very similar stories. So yeah, and like you said, they absolutely know the abuse that you guys do to them, to the drivers and to your systems. Hey, Jeffrey, do you got some names in there real quick so you can share with me?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Do you just want me to read them aloud?
Yep.
Okay, let's see here. Let me just go down.
All right. And then we're going to, what we're going to do is spin the wheel again and all that stuff. So
yeah, I think I'm all caught up here.
Okay.
All right, so I got Moses, Eric Hansen, Tiffany. I got Nick
Hold on a second.
Semino.
I forgot to push enter. I started putting them. Eric, Moses, Eric, who?
Tiffany, Nick, Dustin, Alicia, Susie, David, Steve.
Hold on, wait. Alicia.
Alicia, and then Susie.
Susie. I'm spelling your names horribly. All right.
All right. So it's Alicia, Susie. There's David. There's Steve De Los Santos.
Steve Dell.
I got Spencer and Kelsey. Is she
Is that my daughter?
included?
Kelsey Black?
Yep. She chimed in. There's Joe Mullen. There's Dark Side Car Club. And let me see. I got another Eric. It looks like. No, it's the same one. Eric Hansen. Then there's Jeremy Scogan. Okay, and let's see, Tyler Archer.
Tyler.
Okay.
Oops, that's too many T's in Tyler.
And then Chris Caudell.
Chris C, we'll say. Let me double check on the YouTube side. Anybody else on here? Only person on YouTube side, I have Tristan. So Tristan says, make sure it lands on Tiffany or myself. So... All right, we're going to go just a little bit longer before we make the drawing, but I got those names up there. So World Finals, you're obviously going for the ring. right? You're not looking for second place. I'm sure you'll be, not that you'll be happy, but with second place, it will verify the work that you put in, I think. Is that accurate? No? You want first and only first?
I'll tell you this, and you
All
can
right.
you can quote me on it. You can put it on Chris Gregory's shirt if he loses. Put
All
it
right.
that way. You can put it on your shirt on that final round to make sure. Obviously, hopefully, I win first. That's obviously the goal anytime I compete. But it's like I'm going to keep turning until something breaks or something stops making noise. There's no other choice. You know,
Send
you're in
it,
the final
baby.
round. That's right.
Play it, don't play no more.
Right.
We love that.
Hey, Doug.
Yes,
Looks
sir.
like I forgot Rosa. I don't think I said Rosa, but
Okay.
she's chiming in saying I'm hating on her. Sorry, Rosa. We'll get you on there.
All right, we got Rosa on there. I'm here 3 times, according to Tristan. All right, so let's go on over here. Let's do this. Share screen. Oh wait, share my screen, and I want to share the wheel. Share, and then let me go over here. Oops. And then I want to switch it to YouTube. And
Look at that wheel.
there we go. You can see the wheel. Alternates up. Alts up. Oops. I got to do multiple things here because I'm not normally doing the wheel. All right. So, Jeffrey, give me a number 1 through 5.
Let's go 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shuffle the wheel 5 times. All right. Shawn, give me a number 1 through 5.
4.
1. Oops, that's the 4th reel. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. So click the spin. Let's see who we got. All right. Dark Side would have won. That's
So we're
one.
going 4 times, right? Okay.
Yep, 3 more times. And that's 2. That would have been Tristan. No, Spencer.
Ah.
That's 2. Here's 3. Alicia. All right, so the next one counts for the first of the CU 31s.
UC 31.
UC 31s. I couldn't remember. Alicia.
She was third, and then wow.
All right, so I removed her, and we're gonna do not the first spin, but the second spin for the second. If you can get a hold of Shawn or Jeffrey or myself, okay, would have been Tristan, but nope, this is it. All right, winner of this one gets the other UC 31. It is Tristan.
Whoa, that's weird.
All right. Hey, that's
Random.
handy because you guys already send stuff to him.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, I gotta switch this back to main. There we go. All right. So our winners are Tristan and Alicia. Alicia, one of your guests at the or one of your competitors there in Texas, Jeffrey.
Actually, no. Let me go back and see. I know she just commented on here. Alicia, let's see here. Team Dark Side Money is showing on her profile picture.
Okay.
Hey, Alicia, are you from the Tennessee area? Might be one of Chris Gregory's
I think
competitors.
she is.
Okay.
Okay.
I think so. She can message me and I'll send it out.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, Tennessee. Okay.
And now Tristan has one as a demo for his shop out of Barbados. Since they're already an authorized dealer, that's going to not hurt.
That's perfect.
Yeah, works out great. So your marketing and competition and all this stuff, Um, what does so your job? So my guess is your job is very similar to Justin Hankey's over at DC Audio. Uh, so he told me it's the best job in the world because he was going to go to Slamology, Autorama, World Finals. He was going to those shows anyway. Now he gets paid to go to those shows. Is that kind of the same thing for you?
So I do. Obviously, my main reason I was brought in was to run obviously Team Access Power and do sales for both dealer and distributor level.
Right.
That includes international. Obviously, all that stuff is kind of overfilled, and obviously, like I'll take the courier to a show and compete while I'm running a booth. You know, it kind of multi-purposes that. It kind of works out well because if I have 17 Titans in my vehicle along with 10 banks of caps. Well, I'll show that off in the booth and then take it. Oh, come over here in a few minutes. I'll show, you'll get to see it run, and then I bring it back. And, it kind of works out well for a multi-purpose in that way. And then my other vehicle I'm debuting in March will have the same sort of idea behind
it. Jeffrey, we're already like almost to the end of this thing. It seemed really quick tonight.
Are we? No,
I mean, we're only 10 minutes left. So, but I'm just saying, it seemed really, to me, it seemed quicker than normal. I'm just saying. But no, that's awesome. I'm still working and stuff like that, so I'm kind of distracted a little bit. I'm sorry about that. It's no disrespect to you. I got to pay my bills.
I get it.
So with Excess Power, can you give us a quick rundown of like their lineup? Obviously they focus on power management, your lithium batteries, your regular batteries, stuff like that. And then they acquired Sundown Audio. And from me talking to Scotty, it sounds more he acquired them legally, but it was more of a partnership, not an acquisition.
Yeah, so they're both owned by the same mother company. They're like sister companies the same way. They both operate independently. They both have their separate ship locations and different. Think about it like two beehives being next to each other and just being owned by the same tree. Think about it like that. They're both in the same tree. I just happen to go between both. That would be a better way to put that.
Okay.
But we do have a lot of different battery choices. Obviously, we make our gold standard, our D series, which is the blue label stuff, our AGMs. Those are the ones that, that we've seen. I've seen batteries that are 10 plus years old and Honda's pull up at the show. I'm like, this thing has a date of like 11 years ago. This thing's still going every day. Those are obviously the gold standard. I'd say that's what XS's reputation is primarily built on. Obviously, you have like our XP series, which is our marine, supplemental, power sports, secondary battery market. We have a couple other ones, such as like the Power Sports series. The 16-volt racing scene is obviously big for us within our AGMs, which used to be big. I'm sure you guys remember that. Used to be big on the 16-volt D1600s, D1631s for the old school days. That's not as much anymore. We're getting a lot more 15.5 Quest. And obviously, lithium kind of ushered in a whole new level of, not needing to compensate for that drop in that density. Now you have batteries that can discharge. I mean, like a Titan, for example, it's 8 by 5 by 5. It's like a small shoebox, and you can burp 10,000 plus watts off something that's 9 pounds. It's going to last 15 plus years. That is so, as far as user friendly for an entry level consumer for lithium, it kind of rewrites the book on what you can expect out of a product, especially our lithium lineup. So that's 95% of our SPL and our cardio side is our Titan 8 and our D series. And then obviously we have capacitor banks, which are fantastic in their own use, and they work great with pretty much all the other options that we have. So there's a lot of different ones. I use a mixture of Titan 8. So in my setup, I have 17 power / reserve S6s. I have 10 and I have 7. And then I have 10 banks of our 2.85 volt caps running together. And those two together work really well for burp. But then you get the recovery of the lithium, bringing them back up, refilling the caps before your next hit, so you may not have to go over there and charge before your next hit. Whereas a cap bank, you may have to do that if you discharge it too low, or if you've set a world record and you don't want to leave the lane to go recharge, you want to hit it again, you don't have to get out and charge. So there's kind of some crossovers in between that.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, I remember back in the day.
Yellow top,
Oh,
blue
Power
top.
Power Power Master, right? Was the
Oh
name
yeah.
that was it was before Excess Power, and yeah, I was running probably like close to like 30 some odd of the Power Master batteries, and oh yeah, those things were huge. They weighed a lot, and I just wish we had some kind of lick of the lithium back then. Which
Yep.
I mean nowadays, like you're saying, it's kind of where a lot of the competitors are geared towards now that they're running. And
Hey, where you at?
yeah, were you back
Oh, I
no,
said
you
come to
weren't with
that door so you can
Excess
sign
Power
out.
back
You
when you
guys
were
all done?
Power Master, right? Was it after? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was probably what, like
Okay.
dang, I'm kind of aging myself here, but yeah, that was back in the day, definitely for
Okay.
sure. So it's good
So I'm
to
gonna
see,
sign everybody out at
the evolution
6:30.
taking
Okay.
place, as far as like
All
electrical and
right.
and batteries and
So,
stuff like that. So hey,
all
you
right.
guys running
I got
lithium
everybody.
now, you
Thank you very
guys
much.
totally got it easy compared
Yeah.
to
We'll see you
a lot
tomorrow.
of
Yeah.
the old school competitors
All
back
right.
in
Bye.
the early 2000s. So thank you so much.
Yep. And we're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing a lot of those days of heavy capacitor based setups adding and incorporating lithium. And obviously, I won't say names, but there's a lot of them out there that are starting that process because they're seeing the advantages of a fantastic lithium or a fantastic capacitor bank that after 3 or 4 hits may start to be discharged because they're pulling so much amperage. Well, then they incorporate a lithium bank and it
Mm,
just really buffers how much they use and how much recovery they have, how much they drop. It gives them that extra density in case they need to hit it twice in 30 seconds. They're not going to be at 12
yeah,
volts. They're going to stay at 15, 16 volts, give or take. And it's kind of cool to see that continue to come to fruition. I think you start to see that trickle down, like you said, for people that watch that at finals, people who come to California and watch finals, and then they go into a local shop and say, "Hey, I seen they were using super banks. I want one of those, and I love a Titan. I want to do a D3400 because that's what those guys are using." And I truly think that still happens to this day, that people come into the shops based on what they're seeing, and not only that, but what they're seeing on social media.
exactly. And it kind of makes me wonder sometimes how and I do understand there's other reasons for different choices, but you know these different manufacturers, that are at the World Finals, they have a booth, they're sponsoring in some sort fashion. Why they wouldn't want to be doing that? Because you got that outlet straight to your customer base right there. You yourself are going to be representing Excess Power with your vehicle. Like you said, you're going to be displaying it in a booth, and then 2 3 seconds later you're going to be running it in the lanes. That's just like
Testing one, two.
the ultimate advertising right there.
Yep. Yep, I completely agree. And there's a lot of that out there too. I know, obviously, Nick is a big supporter
Oh yeah.
of obviously World Finals. I know Crossfire is obviously a huge supporter over there. I see Roger usually at finals being in the lanes every year. And I have an awesome relationship with Roger. Roger and Crossfire, fantastic products, are ridiculous. One of my favorite amps is the Crossfire, the bigger amp. Still one of my favorites. He can build some just tanks of amps. And I love that whole setup. It's nice to see them, but it's like that right there. Those guys are looking, and obviously they're there to support their competitors, and that's awesome. But for me, I'm looking and seeing what I can improve on too, as far as
Yeah.
a manufacturer. Where is there a void that needs to be filled? Is there something we're missing? Getting feedback from people talking to us about their voltage, or just, hey, show me your setup, and I want to show you my setup. And those things are so rewarding in a weird, non-monetary way. You get to see kind of the fruits of your labor. Like, obviously, I've designed several products behind the scenes that we sell now. And it's like, man, I remember, forget the first time somebody came up and said, "I want to show you my setup," and he popped the chunk, and what I had kind of sort of had the idea was in that part. I'm like, "Oh, that was so cool!" Like, and of course you don't tell them that, but it's like, man, these things are so cool. And that kind of stuff happens a lot. It's a real gratifying experience, and get to see that. That's why I encourage that crossover. People want to join that.
All right. No, I mean, it, being there and sponsor. I mean, obviously, Roger sponsors DB Drag. He allows them to host events at their shop, and you know, in base race, you win Roger's money. It's every show almost. So
I think he's got a soft spot for DB drag in particular competition.
Yes.
You know, having like the big name hitters like, you know, Steve Mick back in the day, and
Yep.
you know, Roger
Obviously.
himself with you know, his extreme vehicles, and you know, all the time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears he's put into this sport. You know, so he definitely sees. You know, you hear that phrase, "Game recognized game," and that's just exactly what it is. He's going to support it because that's where he came from, and we could see that enthusiasm in Shawn himself. You know, he was competing, and then now that he's you know, kind of you know, with the manufacturers, he's still with that enthusiasm. So it's great to see.
Yep. So, hey, Jeffrey, I know
Yes,
we
sir.
didn't remind or didn't have a chance to prep Shawn prior to the show, but why don't we ask Shawn the question? As because now that I am in Reno again, or now I'm in Reno. Once again, my league starts at 7, so I got to get there and
Ah,
everything. So, yeah, I got a whole new group of old people I can take money from. So
nice.
that's kind of my goal, when I go bowling. And yeah, I went and bowled a tournament here a couple weeks ago, and the guy's like, "Yeah, you're not a 190 average bowler." I was like, "Come on, dude!" I was the third highest bowler out of 250 bowlers at the tournament. So anyway, why don't you hit him with the question, sir?
Okay. I kind of feel like Shawn's one of those quintessential examples of what
He
I'm gonna
is.
ask, you know. So it almost seems like I'm not really worthy to ask this question of Shawn, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So Shawn, basically, this is a question we asked our guests. Basically, we want to know what is your definition of a base head?
So my definition of a base head is somebody that has a true, genuine passion for the sport, not only in the heavy, loud stuff, but everyday listening, all the way from somebody that watches the YouTube videos, who enjoys the setup, who listens to the rebase music, all the way up to the guy that is a like a dummy like me and spends thousands of dollars just for a 3 second thrill ride. All the way to that point. There that entire group of enthusiasts is what I would consider a base head. Every like everything else, it kind of has your own form, and there's no set, in my opinion, definition to a single base head. It's just an enthusiast who loves the sport, who loves audio, who loves the sound of it, loves to hang out with other enthusiasts, and generally enjoys this as a hobby. That's what I put it.
Ah,
I like that 3 second thrill ride. I haven't heard that before, but
no, we haven't.
I can appreciate that.
It's
Absolutely.
it's funny because my wife, she'll see me every night in the garage cussing and hollering and coming bleeding and because I've cut myself or my team's making fun of me in the group, the Wall Street guys right now because it's like I got angle grinder blew up in my face and it cut my face up. And
Oh,
I sent them a picture of my eye and it was like bleeding everywhere. And I come inside, I'm like, hey, my wife, I come inside, I was like, honey, I was like, I need some assistance. And she goes, what did you do now? And so I'm sitting there and I'm just gushing blood everywhere. And she was like, all this for what? I said, three
for
seconds.
what? 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
Yes.
That's it. Like
And it's
99.7% of what I do is just pushing for that 3 seconds, and it's hard to explain until you have that passion and that drive to do that. It's hard to explain to somebody, but it's really no different than competing in anything we do, whether it be racing or anything. To be honest, getting to that point, you spend so much time in just hardcore preparation and stressing over it. I speak from personal experience. It's
Mhm.
stressing over it, spending money that you don't have to not know if something's not going to work or not. Things like that. It's just really, it's a hard to explain what that is without to somebody who doesn't know. You know,
And speaking of Tennessee based racers, we have Chris Gregory chiming in, says 3 seconds is a long time. I'm not
It
sure what he
is.
means by that, but I'm kidding, of course. He also says here, Sean Mayo is my hero. Chris says.
I Shawn, so how would people get a hold of XS, get a hold of you, maybe follow you, follow XS's page? How would you say people learn more about XS and follow you guys or whatever?
so not to sound cocky, but you can go to a car show and see kind of what we do, and a lot of that is guys like you guys have our logos out in the show, and guys like Chris Gregory have products, and not only that, they've worked shows with. They know our products, they understand it. Because if you go to somebody, and I'm just using him for example, because he does a fantastic job at this in this area of Tennessee for preaching what we do. Same with Jeremy Kramer and a bunch of our local judges. they do a great job of pushing our products and understanding what the competitor needs. So going on our website, checking it out, going on Facebook, seeing what people say about Excess Power, see what they're running, reaching out to me for team inquiries and things like that. You can call Excess Power. You can use Shawn at excesspowerbatteries.com for a direct link to me for team inquiries and stuff like that. Honestly, there's so many opportunities to realize and find out what we do. And if we don't have something that fits your needs, we either don't make it or we're going to make it. That's kind of our only two choices. So, like I said, if you have any questions or anything you just have me in general you want to know, feel free to reach out to one of our dealers, our distributors, or even our judges who do a great job recommending and promoting our products, things like that. There's all kinds of ways to learn about Excess Power.
Awesome. Jeffrey, what you got coming up?
I got well, first of all, I want to do this calling all Texas base racers and top dog competitors. It seems I might be facing a challenge with getting some competitors for this weekend, only because there's a IASCA state competition as well as a USAC competition going on the same weekend. So if you've ever Texas guys, if you've ever base raced before or done top dog, definitely hit me up. We need you to be on the team. As you guys know, we're going heads up with California and Tennessee. It's going to be base race and top dog, multi-venue cash competition event. So
DB dry, or it's a DBDRA World Finals rehearsal is what it becomes.
Yes. More importantly, that's what it is. We want to make sure and get all the bugs worked out for this to go over flawlessly at World Finals. So I mean, initially I thought it was just going to be a test, and I thought we were going to have a couple of guys, but you guys are making it this full-on show, which is it's a good thing. It's getting this enthusiasm and competition rearing up and going just right before finals. So that's what I got going on. If you guys are in Texas, done base race, or interested in doing base race or top dog, definitely shoot me a message. We'll get you all squared away, and hopefully we'll have a good showing at this weekend.
Qualifying's from 5 to 6 at local time, Tennessee and Texas, 3 to 4 on the West Coast. The only time that really does matter. So those are the important times. And remember, we're just looking for a short window because all we're doing is qualifying a handful of people for base race. So it shouldn't take us forever to qualify people for a base race.
Dude, that should be the catchphrase on the shirt. Is the only time that matters, California time. The only time
right?
If I would like to see that on the shirt. And so, real quickly, let me let's kind of keep things civil, you guys. Chris Gregory, I'm sure, is watching. Let's not design the shirts distastefully.
Let's so distastefully.
Oh my goodness! See, let's kind of keep things classy, guys. I don't want to be wearing anybody wearing a eggplant emoji on their T-shirt or something, walking around finals with that. So let's keep it classy and all in good fun. Is what I have to say about that. So go ahead.
So is California and Texas fighting for second? Is that what the plan is?
Oh wow! And he isn't going to show up. And he just drops a bomb and walks away.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he's like, I ain't even going to be there.
We know what side he's on. Of course,
my loyalty may have came through just a tad in that one.
Yeah,
just slipped you just a little bit.
All right, guys, I got to get going. Want to thank you guys for tuning in again this week. Once again, thank you to Shawn Mayo. Shawn Mayo, awesome guest. Jeffrey, good job again today. Thanks for helping me run a lot of stuff here going on. I got a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I'm going to be much better next week. I'll have everything situated so I can see the screen. We will be giving away something again next week, maybe just a T-shirt. I don't know. We'll see where we are at with this. But anyway, guys, tune in next week. We'll have Wayne or Celise on here, most likely, and we'll be talking about World Finals, how things goes. And then Jeffrey and I will be discussing how we're going to, I might elicit Jeffrey's help in, designing Chris Gregory's shirt for him. So just saying, I got a little faith in my California guys here. So for
Chris
this,
get a shirt for winning first? Is that what we're talking about?
huh?
Chris get a shirt for winning first? Is that what we're trying to?
So whoever's first designs the shirt for whoever's last.
That's what I'm saying. Are we designing Chris's shirt? Is that what we're talking about?
That's what Jeffrey and I will be doing. Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Just kind of setting the parameters for
Yeah.
it, you know.
I'm just saying,
Keep it classy.
rainbows, and
Whoa.
welcome to San Francisco, my friend.
Oh, speaking
Chris
of San
Gregory,
Francisco,
I love that.
Yeah, you got San Francisco behind you.
I do.
I appreciate the opportunity to be on the podcast. It's been fun.
All right, thank you for tuning in. Hey, thank you everybody for watching. Congratulations to our winners, Alicia and Tristan, for winning the Excess Power UC31s. Get a hold of Shawn, Jeffrey, or myself. We'll get you in contact with people we need to. But thank you. Congratulations to you guys. Thank you once again for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week, 5:30 California time, the only time that does matter for reals. But we will see you guys next week on This Week in Car Audio. Peace. We out.